At 54, Brandi Passante's life is nothing like the bold and strong image fans once saw on Storage Wars. Behind the sharp tongue and strong bidding wars lay secrets of heartbreak, betrayal, and battles that pushed her to the edge. Fame brought her into the spotlight, but it also opened doors to tragedy, pain, and struggles she could never walk away from. Health scares, personal losses, and scary times nearly broke her spirit. Now, her story isn't just about auctions, it's about survival. How much tragedy has Brandi Passante faced? Join us in this video as we discuss the details. The heartbreaking tragedy of Brandi Passante. Brandi Passante, the well-known star from the hit reality show Storage Wars, has lived a life that many fans never saw on television. While she became popular for her sharp instincts and funny personality on the auction floor, her personal life has been filled with struggles. Some of the most painful challenges she has faced include her children's serious health problems, a damaging cyber attack that tried to ruin her name, frightening threats that made her fear for her safety, and the difficult task of protecting her children while being a mother in the spotlight. One of Brandi's biggest battles came very early in her journey as a mom. After meeting her longtime partner Jared Schultz through her job at a carpet cleaning company in California, she eventually became a mother to 2 children. Their son Cameron was born in 2003, followed by their daughter Peyton in 2005. But what should have been a joyful and exciting time for the young couple soon turned into years of worry and struggle. Peyton was born both deaf and with a cleft palate, a serious condition that made it difficult for her to eat, speak, and hear. This meant that Peyton needed major medical care, including an exhausting 16-hour surgery when she was still a baby. After that, Brandi had to take her daughter to regular speech therapy sessions to help her develop her communication skills. At the same time, her son Cameron faced his own serious health crisis. He needed surgery for a dangerous kidney condition. Brandi always said that those years were some of the hardest of her life. She loved her children more than anything, but she agreed that she sometimes felt tired and even guilty because she could not always provide the kind of life she wanted for them. She remembered feeling like she would have been a stronger parent if she had a career to help her feel confident about giving her kids more than she had growing up. These health struggles not only tested her strength as a mother, but they also gave her a deep feeling of love for other children who face issues. As if raising 2 children with health issues wasn't enough, Brandi also became the target of a painful public scandal during her rise to fame. In 2012, she was shocked to learn that Hunter Moore, a man who ran a notorious revenge porn website, had posted a nude video online and falsely claimed the woman in the video was her. The clip was spread online with her name attached to it, and many people believed it was real. For Brandi, it was a nightmare. She quickly took legal action, suing Moore for defamation, invasion of privacy, and fraud. In court, she explained how deeply hurt, ashamed, and worried the fake video had made her feel, especially since she feared her children might one day see it. Although she won the case, and Moore was forced to shut down his site, the court only awarded her $750 in damages, far less than she had hoped for. Brandi later admitted that the small legal victory did not feel like a win because the emotional damage had already been done. On top of this, her new life in the spotlight brought with it another scary problem: threats to her safety. When Storage Wars became a huge success, Brandi suddenly went from being a small business owner to a public figure known everywhere she went. While fame might sound like a lot, Brandi's experience showed the darker side. She began receiving disturbing, threatening letters from strangers. Some of the threats were so scary that she and her family decided to move into a gated community just to feel safe. Brandi later agreed that she was always afraid to leave her house and even needed therapy to deal with the steady stress and worry. Simple things like going to the gas station or grocery store became hard because she worried about meeting people with bad feelings towards her. These problems with safety and fame also spilled into her role as a mother. Brandi quickly realized that when the world knows your name, it also pays unwanted attention to your family. Through all of these painful experiences, Brandi has continued to do her best as a mother. While she may be known to fans as a tough and witty bidder on Storage Wars, her real life tells a story of resilience, sacrifice, and the deep struggles that come with being a parent in the public eye. After facing so many public challenges, how did Brandi's private health struggles and her relationship with Jared begin to shape the next chapter of her life? Stay tuned for more. Brandi's struggles with health and her relationship with Jared. There have been both happy and really hard times in Brandi's story, especially in regards to her health and her relationship with Jared. Brandi has faced a lot of issues that she has tried to solve over the years. These issues come from the emotional stress of being in a stressful relationship, as well as her physical health. Brandi's health issues began a few years ago and slowly got worse over time. She first believed they were small problems that would be solved. Because she wanted to stay strong and avoid coming out as weak to those around her, she always ignored the early warning signs. But as the months passed, her health began to fail in ways that could no longer be overlooked. She faced steady pain, lack of energy, and times where her body simply could not keep up with her daily life. Doctors gave her a lot of tests and tried to find the root cause, but even when she got answers, the treatments were always long and tiring. This created a cycle where she would feel a little better, only to get worse again. These health issues made her life very unstable. There were days when she could act like normal and handle her duties, but there were also days where she could hardly get out of bed. This became another form of stress, as she never knew what to expect. Simple tasks like cooking, working, or even spending time with loved ones sometimes was not possible. Brandi always kept her pain hidden because she did not want to be a burden to those around her. But deep inside, it was eating away at her peace. Her relationship with Jared was another big part of her journey. Jared was not just her partner, but also someone she leaned on when her health got worse. At times, he was strong for her, trying to help her through the hard times. He would drive her to clinics, remind her to take medicine, and sit with her when she felt weak. Those times of care gave her strength and made her feel less alone in the issue she was facing. But their relationship was far from perfect. Jared also found it hard to understand the full weight of Brandi's condition. He always grew frustrated when plans had to be canceled or when she did not have the energy to do the things they once loved. Issues started to build up, not because they did not care for each other, but because the stress of her illness created issues between them. Brandi sometimes felt she was at fault, thinking that she was holding Jared back from living a full and exciting life. On the other hand, Jared sometimes felt powerless, not being able to fix what she was going through. These ups and downs created a bond that was strong at times, but also weak. There were times where love brought them closer, but also times where the weight of the issue pushed them apart. Brandi's health issues made her feel weak, and at times, not understood. Jared's role as her partner was tested again and again, as he had to choose patience and understanding in situations where frustration would have been the easier path. Through all of this, Brandi tried to stay hopeful. She looked for ways to make her health better, from following hard medical plans to trying other ways. She also worked on keeping communication open with Jared, even when it was hard. She knew that staying quiet could create issues between them, so she always forced herself to talk about her fears, her pain, and her hopes. In many ways, her journey was not just about her illness, but also about holding on to love during hard times. The mix of physical pain and unseen stress showed how linked health and relationships can be. When one suffers, the other often feels the pain. Brandi and Jared's story is a reminder that health issues do not only affect one person, but everyone close to them. It was clear that their story was not about perfection, but about learning to live with issues together. After building her name on television and facing the pressures of fame, what early battles and shocking finds helped shape Brandi Passante's story both on and off the screen? Let's delve deeper. From a tough childhood to treasure hunts and scandal, Brandi Passante, one of the well-known stars from the show Storage Wars, has lived a life that has been full of struggles, surprises, and even scandal. Her story begins with a difficult childhood, moves through huge discoveries in storage lockers, and then reaches into a controversy that shook the very show that made her famous. Brandi was born on May 16, 1980, in Harris County, Texas. Her early years were not happy ones. She grew up in a home where she was treated badly, especially by her brothers, who often hurt her. Because of this, Brandi had to learn how to stand up for herself at a very young age. She grew tougher with each fight and slowly built a shield around her emotions. Still, she was a quiet and shy girl deep down. Many people remember how she often wore a serious or even unfriendly look on her face. Later in life, this became known as her resting face. But for young Brandi, it was more like a wall she built to protect herself. The pain of her childhood made her independent, but it also taught her to be cautious and to read people closely. Later, her family moved to California. This move gave Brandi the chance to start over. one of the most shocking events in Brandi's career came in 2023. She bought a storage unit for $800, even though most bidders wanted nothing to do with it. The unit looked dirty and worthless to everyone else, but Brandi trusted her instincts. When she looked inside, she found something far more valuable than she could have imagined. The locker contained bank records, legal papers, and a rare collection that needed to be guarded by armed security during the appraisal. Even the executives at AE, the network behind Storage Wars, were stunned by the total value of the find. The discovery gave Brandi even more respect as someone who could see treasure where others saw trash. Yet the choice she faced after this big breakthrough was not easy, and it is said to still weigh on her. This was not her only big moment. Brandi had many memorable finds during her time on Storage Wars. Once, she bought a unit for only $50 and found a large My Little Pony collection worth $875. Another time, she spent $900 on a unit filled with strange and creepy objects connected to voodoo, which gave her one of her most unusual stories. In yet another case, she and Jared paid $700 for a unit full of vintage toys that ended up being valued at $800. That was one of their largest wins on the show. She also bought a unit for $500 that held screen printing machines valued at $50. Each of these finds showed that Brandi had a sharp eye for hidden value and that she was willing to take risks where others would not. But not all the attention Brandi received was good. In 2012, she was pulled into one of the biggest scandals in Storage Wars history. Cast member Dave Hester filed a lawsuit against AE and the producers of the show. He claimed that the series was not always real and that items were being planted inside storage lockers to make the show more exciting. Hester even showed emails, receipts, and reimbursement checks to support his claims. Fans who believed the show was completely real were shocked by these reports. Brandi and Jared's names were mentioned during the controversy, although it was never proven how much they knew. Still, the accusations cast a shadow over the entire series. The lawsuit also revealed how producers sometimes used editing tricks, like cutting and stitching different clips together to make fake arguments or drama. This made some viewers question how much of what they saw on the screen was real. At the same time, the cast was reported to be making between $15 and $25 per episode, which showed just how popular the show had become despite the scandal. Brandi Passante's life has been far from simple. From the pain of her early years, to the life-changing finds inside storage lockers, to the scandal that shook Storage Wars, her journey has been full of highs and lows. After years of partnership, controversy, and public battles, how did Brandi Passante find the strength to step out on her own? Let's find out more. Brandi Passante, breaking away and building a new life. Brandi Passante's life after her early rise on Storage Wars shows how she has faced both painful moments and new beginnings. One of the hardest moments for her came in Orange County, when she and Jared Schultz, her former partner both on and off the show, were involved in a heated argument at a crowded bar. Witnesses saw the fight spill into the open, and soon police became involved. This event signaled to Brandi the beginning of her decision to get past the past and move forward independently. Following their split, Brandi went back to Storage Wars as a lone bidder rather than as a member of the Young Guns combo. She had to confront the difficulty of competing against more seasoned cast members on her own for the first time. She was responsible for handling the things she bought, making her own selections throughout the bidding process, and figuring out how to properly resell them. This event signaled to Brandi the beginning of her decision to get past the past and move forward independently. Following their split, Brandi went back to Storage Wars as a lone bidder rather than as a member of the Young Guns combo. She had to confront the difficulty of competing against more seasoned cast members on her own for the first time. She was responsible for handling the things she bought, making her own selections throughout the bidding process, and figuring out how to properly resell them. Her approach to the work was praised by many spectators. She was cautious in her selections, frequently concentrating on products that would actually provide a profit as opposed to pursuing high-risk gains. She created a mechanism that gave her flexibility in volatile markets by combining traditional methods of moving goods with online retailing. She was able to maintain her composure despite the intense competition because of this strategy. Supporters applauded her for displaying strength during a period when her personal life was being tested and valued her independence. She showed that she could stand alone without Jared's help during her solo journey on the show. Brandi started to build a new career and personal path away from the auction industry. She was seen with Clifford Beaver, her new partner, in 2023. After years of public talks, this action seemed to give her balance and a new beginning. She also started to lay the foundation for a whole new kind of auction than storage auctions. She opened up about plans in 2024 for a new podcast, The Real Reality, which is expected to start in 2025. This idea is rare because it allows her to speak to her fans directly instead of through a reality program that has been changed or acted. She will talk about her life experiences, her years working on television, and her opinions on the entertainment sector. Brandi is taking charge of her story in a manner she has never been able to do before by starting her own platform. Through these changes, Brandi has managed to reinvent herself. She is still active on Storage Wars, but she is no longer seen only as one half of a pair. Instead, she has built a new image as an independent figure who combines television appearances with social media activity and future digital projects. Her growth shows her resilience. Rather than letting personal hardships or public controversies define her, she used them as fuel to move forward. She faced issues in her relationships, legal issues, and business losses, but she didn't allow them to stop her growth. Instead, she turned them into teachings that today control how she builds her future. Although Brandi Passante's path has not been easy, it shows the strength of changing and staying true in the face of change. What role did Brandi's beginnings in storage auctions have in her subsequent pandemic and personal loss struggles? Let's take a closer look. Brandi Passante. From storage auctions to strength through loss. She was just trying to make ends meet with Jared Schultz when he lost his job, long before she was a well-known figure on TV. They sought a means to make ends meet because they were short on cash. At that point, they learned about the peculiar realm of storage auctions. Unaware of what was inside, people would bid on the contents of abandoned storage lockers at these locations. The procedure was chaotic and daunting at first. They would win lockers that contained boxes of miscellaneous household things and furniture. Before long, their home was crammed with stacks of merchandise, and their garage was overflowing. The city even threatened to punish them if they failed to come up with a better solution in response to the mess. They had to change their way of thinking as a result. They made the decision to build a store to sell the products rather than considering auctions as a side activity. That's how Now and Then, their thrift store, came to be. It gave them a place to sort, price, and display the many items they were bringing home. Running a store was not easy, but it allowed them to move their growing inventory and gave them experience in business that they had never had before. Their constant presence at auctions and the way they handled their finds eventually caught attention. A television producer noticed them and asked to film test footage at their shop. What started as a small idea soon grew into something far bigger, the chance to appear on a reality show. When Storage Wars launched, Brandi and Jared were suddenly household names. Many years later, Brandi faced challenges that had nothing to do with auctions or fame. In 2020, the world was struck by the COVID-19 pandemic, and like so many others, she had to face the uncertainty of illness. After getting the illness, Brandi decided to post about her experience online so that her admirers may follow her hardships and recuperation. She became more relatable as a result of her candor. She was more than simply a TV celebrity. She was a woman going through the same struggles and anxieties as millions of other people. Many of her fans were encouraged by her recovery and valued her candor during such a terrifying period. An even more sad event happened in that same year. Brandi was honest about her deep feelings after losing her father. She paid a moving tribute to him, saying out how much he meant to her and how hard it was to deal with his death. For someone who had been on TV for years in the growing world of auctions, this time showed a more weak and gentle side of herself. Fans replied with love and support, showing that they saw her as more than just a TV star. The feeling of fighting illness and losing her father during the pandemic forced Brandi to slow down and think again. These situations were hard, but they also gave her strength and reminded her of the importance of not giving up. She continued her television work, but she also began focusing more on her personal healing and growth. By choosing to be open about her struggles, she built an even deeper bond with her audience. What do you think about the tragedy of Brandi Passante? Share your thoughts in the comments section below. Thank you for watching this video. We hope you found it interesting. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Click the next video shown on your screen to catch up on your favorite celebrity stories. See you there.